The current 2025 Tesla Model 3 is a bargain, and in this video I'm going to break down the reasons that you should consider it, and I'm going to show you what a comparable model would cost with similar options from other manufacturers. The first thing we need to talk about in terms of the Tesla Model 3 is free money. That's right. Currently, every single Tesla Model 3 that you can purchase comes with a $7,500 federal incentive. This incentive is very easy to understand if you qualify, and it's an upfront incentive. So, a Model 3 Performance like this costs $54,990, but with the $7,500 upfront federal incentive, you get $7,500 off of that price. Meaning a Model 3 Performance with 510 horsepower and all-wheel drive and 300 miles of range now costs you $47,490. But how do you know if you qualify? Well, it's very simple. If you make under $150,000 a year, you qualify. If you make less than $300,000 a year and you're filing jointly, you qualify. But there's one more way to take advantage of this federal incentive. And that is if you own a business. Currently, Tesla's entire fleet qualifies for the federal incentive. So if you put your Tesla under your business, even if you put a Tesla Semi under your business, you would qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. The Semi is a $40,000 federal tax credit. As you can see right here, the 2023 Inflation Reduction Act says that eligible business and tax-exempt organizations can claim up to a $7,500 credit when purchasing a new Tesla vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating of up to 14,000 pounds, and all Tesla passenger vehicles qualify for this incentive. The interesting thing about the Model 3 is the base model gets the most range at 363 miles because it is only rear-wheel drive, and after the federal tax credit, it only costs $34,990. Okay, so we've talked about the money part of it, but paying $40,000 for a sedan of this size is still expensive. So what does the competition look like? If we go to BMW, you're looking at the 3 Series, which starts at $45,000, but that is for a base variant and there's no options on that thing. So the Tesla has an incredible sound system. It has autopilot and full self-driving. It even has a security system built into it called Sentry Mode, using 8 cameras around the car, giving you access to the interior, exterior, and recording anything that happens, even accidents. BMW has nothing like this. And truthfully, if you want to get something more in comparison with the Model 3 Long Range or the Model 3 Performance, you would have to look to the BMW M340. And then to get to the performance of the Tesla Model 3 Performance, you're looking at a BMW M3 with xDrive, which will do the 0 to 60 in about the same when you use launch control, but only when you use launch control. Now, admittedly, the advantage to going with a BMW is the fact that you're going to be able to customize the car and add features and colors and interior colors in a way that you can't really do with Tesla. With Tesla, it's white interior or black interior and a few paint options. With BMW, you can really customize the car to exactly what you want it to be. And because it's a BMW, you don't have to use turn signals. You can park in handicap spots when you're not handicapped. There's things that come with owning a BMW. I used to own an M2. You can kind of do anything. The other thing that comes with owning a BMW or a gas-powered car is the fact that it has an exhaust. So you have the B58 motor, which is currently in the Supra, and it's also in the BMW M340i or the M340i xDrive. It's a great sounding engine, and the S58 in the BMW M3 also sounds great. But here's the problem. The sound on the interior, everyone's like, oh, electric cars, there's no sound in the interior, blah, blah, blah. The sound is being piped in and amplified, so it's not even the sound that the engine actually makes. I can't even say that it's a sound symposer. It's just fake sound being pumped in because there are no twin-turbo V6s that actually make the sound that is pumped into the BMW G80 M3. With that said, the exhaust does sound excellent on the outside, but the cars are so well insulated that you can't really hear it unless you put on some garbage aftermarket exhaust. The other thing to consider with BMW and with Tesla, when BMW went from iDrive 7 to iDrive 8, it was a totally new look on the interior of the vehicle. When Tesla does software updates, even the older models get them. So this is a 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance. When there is a software update on the 2026 model or the 2025 model, I will get it in this. even in my 2020 Tesla Model Y, I'm still getting most of the updates that they are currently giving to the 2025 models. If you get an update in the BMW, you have to buy an entire new car. There's very few features that they're going to be adding to the vehicle. For example, the blind spot monitoring on my 2020 Tesla Model Y, looks like this. When I put a turn signal on, it shows me exactly what's in my blind spot. My Model Y didn't come with that feature, but it's now been added through a software update. There is no BMW software update that's going to happen that does that. Now, regardless of which car you are looking to buy, you may want your current car to smell better, and that's why I just installed this Drift air freshener on my Tesla Model 3. Drift is a company that creates natural scents for your car and home. And what appealed to me about Drift is they care about clean scents, meaning their scents will never contain parabens, phthalates, formaldehyde, mineral oil. You get it, bad stuff that other companies have in their scents. Since we just had a baby, this became more important to us for fertility and clean air where our baby is sleeping. They also have home scents with their Drift Home Scent Diffuser, which lasts up to 30 days and comes in these various scents. The car freshener subscription starts between $9 and $15, and you can choose between wood, stone, and metal air fresheners for your car, whichever fits your style. With code Gjeebs2, you can save 55% off your first month at drift.co, or if you are watching on your TV, just scan the QR code and the discount code will automatically be applied on the site. Drift, thank you for sponsoring this video. The other option out there is Audi, and the Audi A4 starts at around $44,000. And if you want to get a more performance-oriented model, you would be looking at the Audi S4. And the Audi S4 is excellent. All-wheel drive, really sporty exhaust note, and it's $54,000 or $55,000 starting price. But again, to get it up to all of the features that the Model 3, wow, RS7, nice. But to get it up to all the features that the Model 3 has, you would have to put more into it. The other thing that's crazy about Audi is for the first time ever, Tesla has outsold Audi by 118,000 units. So Audi's sales are falling and Tesla sales are rising because more people are just catching on to the fact that they are just great daily drivers. So if you're not totally sold and you're not an enthusiast, you don't know a ton about other brands, I do think you would love the Audi S4 because it's sporty, it has different drive modes. That is something that I highly recommend. I can also say the same thing for the BMW M340. I like BMW, I like Audi, I like all these things, but people aren't looking at the long-term costs of these vehicles are significantly higher, and you don't have to worry about this over time. Now, Mercedes-Benz offers the C-Class, but it starts at $48,050. And just to get a panoramic roof, cooled seats, and their driver's assistance package, that's another $5,000. And keep in mind, with the federal tax credit at the entry-level Model 3, you get quicker acceleration, a charging network, and better driver assistance technology standard on the vehicle, and the federal tax credit takes it down to $34,000. And look, you may be complaining, hey, we shouldn't be subsidizing EVs. Well, we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries for various things. You might as well get your share of it through a vehicle. But you know what all three of these brands have in common? Is high maintenance. I'm getting blasted with sun. Why did I choose this position? We'll change over here for the next one. High maintenance and long-term costs that continue to increase. Think about it. This Tesla Model 3 here doesn't have spark plugs, doesn't need to have oil changes, and all of the minutia that comes with a gas-powered car. Now, I'm again not saying that gas-powered cars are bad and you shouldn't drive one. I'm saying for a daily driver, it's kind of silly when something this good for this price exists. But some people will argue that the Tesla will depreciate more over time, and that might be true, but whether you get a Mercedes C-Class, a BMW 3 Series, or an Audi A Series, you are going to get depreciation. Tesla comes fully loaded with all of the options. There's not a lot of boxes to check, and there's not a lot of options from colors and wheels from the factory, so that's why the depreciation happens, is because they're common. But here's what people are missing and why they're viewing EVs incorrectly. You feel that it will be outdated and the technology over time will make them expensive paperweights, but with a Tesla, they last on average over 200,000 miles, and that is an average from a study done in the UK. Regardless of powertrain being electric or gas, Tesla lasted on average 204,000 miles, and in comparison, a gas-powered Audi would only last 143,000 miles, but you can only imagine the maintenance that went along with that. I am, of course, talking about a daily driver, something that you can just bang around town and not care about. You don't necessarily have to buy one new. I recommend buying one with the Ryzen chip. That way you have something that gets the current software update, so a 2023 or newer. But I mean, to get the performance that this thing has and the technology that it has, you would have to spend $100,000+ to get something close to this Model 3 performance. Replace your air filters, rotate your tires, and run this iPad on wheels into the ground. It is undoubtedly the best daily driver you can buy, this or the Tesla Model Y. You cannot even argue that. And because of the depreciation, if you don't want to buy new and take that depreciation hit, or you're not leasing, just buy one that's slightly used. You have all of the same features because they continue to update the iPad. Okay? Tim Apple updates the iPad. Porsche Macan, I want that. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about the Porsche. Should I get a Porsche Macan or should I get a Model Y? And I'm like, it's a hard question for me to answer. I love them both. I mean, look at this performance. And we just come to a stop like a nice little breeze. We're just having a nice little breeze. And then we go back. Yeah, it's just shocking. It is just shocking how fast this Camaro Z28 is coming up behind me here. Dude, I might be able to beat you on foot. Might be able to beat you on foot. Like a 0 to, I don't know if I can still hit 20. But I could probably beat him to 15, no problem. I'm not saying replace your gas car, EV's the future, we're saving the planet. I'm just saying you should absolutely consider it because financially it makes a lot of sense. You're going to own this thing and you're going to love it, and then you're going to you might look back to get a gas car or something like that. You're like, maybe I want the BMW X5 or whatever, and then you're going to you go into the dealership first of all, you got to negotiate, you got to do the add-ons. Do I want this? And then they say, what about the maintenance package? It's $3,400. That's 2 to 3 years of coverage, and you're like, I don't have to maintain or do really anything to a Tesla. It's just a tampon on wheels, you know? And keep in mind, I owned a BMW M2, I owned a Focus ST, Porsche Macan S. I've owned those other fun cars, and they're excellent. I love them. And I would actually consider owning one of them again, but these make a lot of sense. The videos that I make are surrounded by EVs right now, and I like to compare gas and EV and hybrid and plug-in hybrid. It's all good. But I'm just giving you the perspective that I don't think that, it makes sense for absolutely everyone, especially if you're in an apartment and you don't have charging that you have access to. Now, some people have charging at work. They'll buy an electric vehicle because they can charge at work for free or at their apartment for free. Personally, I think it would be a pain in the butt if you weren't able to just plug in and let it charge overnight. That's where it's the cheapest and most convenient because you eliminate going to the gas station and servicing the car at all throughout the year. Now, the other thing is, do you want to see what a Porsche Macan and a Tesla Model Y comparison looks like? Well, I've owned both and made this video right here showing what it's like to drive both of them back to back. And again, thank you Drift for sponsoring this video.